You open a menu for a 5-minute lunch and find 87 items staring back. 10 minutes later, nothing is ordered. More choice was supposed to mean more freedom, yet the screen has turned freedom into friction. The strange part is that a tiny menu can feel insulting. So, the problem isn't choice itself, it's what choice asks your mind to do before it lets you move. The popular answer is simple. Too many options overwhelm the brain. Picture buying running shoes online. At first, every filter feels helpful. Size, color, cushioning, trail grip, return policy. Then the helpfulness curdles. Each new pair is another possible mistake, another thing to compare, another reason to wait. If that explanation is right, the prediction is blunt. As the number of options rises, decisions should slow down, satisfaction should fall, and people should increasingly choose nothing. That story has a reason it stuck. In the classic jam experiment by Iyengar and Lepper, a large display attracted more shoppers, but a smaller display produced far more buyers. The big table won attention, the small table won commitment. That feels exactly like modern life. Open the whole universe, then fail to click one ordinary thing. The same pattern appears in a weightier place. A study of Vanguard retirement plans looked at employees whose plans offered different numbers of investment funds. More funds were associated with lower participation, even after measured plan and worker differences were considered. Because it wasn't randomized, we can't say the extra funds caused all the drop, but the human meaning is hard to ignore. When the decision feels consequential, more doors can become more reasons not to walk through any of them. Then the neat answer breaks. A 2010 meta-analysis by Scheibehan and colleagues combined 50 randomized experiments comparing smaller and larger assortments. On average, larger choice sets were basically no worse. Some famous demonstrations did not replicate cleanly, and the results swung a lot from one situation to another. That is not a tiny footnote, it changes the question. If more options automatically cause paralysis, the average effect should have been easier to find, especially across so many control tests. Instead, the evidence looks like a switch that only flips under certain conditions, so the real puzzle is sharper. When does variety feel like freedom, and when does it turn into mental debt? A better explanation is that choices don't just have a number, they have a shape. Imagine sorting keys in the dark. 6 keys can be miserable if everyone is nearly identical and you don't know what the lock needs. 20 keys can be fine if one has a bright red tag and you're sure that's yours. The burden comes from comparison, uncertainty, and the cost of being wrong, not from quantity alone. In overchoice experiments by Gorville and Soman, adding options helped when products could be compared along similar features, but backfired when the features were harder to line up. When information was simplified, or when people could reverse the decision later, the bad effect weakened. That points to a causal chain. Options create comparisons. Comparisons create effort and anticipated regret. Effort and regret make delay feel safer than choosing. The mind is not counting items like a machine. It is asking over and over whether this difference matters. The hidden variable is not the size of the shelf, it's decision readiness, how clear your preferences are, and how easy the set is to compare. A 2015 meta-analysis by Chernev and colleagues found overload was more likely when assortments were hard to compare, the task was demanding, people were unsure what they wanted, or they were trying to minimize effort. The number of options by itself did not reliably explain the effect. That changes the causal chain. More choices become a problem when they multiply unanswered questions. Which features matter? How should trade-offs be weighed? How bad would regret feel later? If those questions are already answered, variety can simply give you a better match. If they are not, every extra option adds another tiny trial inside your head. Imagine 2 people choosing a new apartment from the same long list. Maya knows she needs a quiet bedroom, a short commute, and a strict rent ceiling. The list is large, but most entries disappear quickly. Choice gives her reach, because each option is tested against a rule she already trusts. Daniel starts with only a vague wish for something better. Every listing changes the standard. Bigger kitchen, better light, nicer street, maybe cheaper if he waits. The same list keeps reopening the decision instead of narrowing it. By evening, Maya has scheduled 2 viewings. Daniel has 40 tabs open, 3 almost messages to brokers, and no appointment. So, does having more choices make real decisions impossible? Not by itself. The stronger verdict is conditional. More choice helps when your priorities are clear, the options are comparable, and mistakes are tolerable. It hurts when the decision is important, the features don't line up, and you are still trying to discover what you value. In that world, the mind isn't rejecting freedom. It's protecting itself from choosing blindly, defending the future self who will have to live with the answer. Go back to that giant lunch menu. The trap was never 87 meals. It was 87 unanswered comparisons. A good decision doesn't always need fewer doors. It needs a way to know which doors are yours. Alright, and that was today's curiosity from Hidden Axiom. We hope you enjoyed it, and if this video answered your question, leave a like, share your next question in the comments, and subscribe to keep discovering. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.